Good morning, good morning. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker. Good morning.
You know, we did a live remote yesterday, and so our mics in the other room got a little discombobulated. So forgive me, Tobin Brinker.
I think she does that on purpose sometimes.
I do not.
She always says she doesn't, but, you know, I just get this feeling.
I definitely don't.
It's Friday. She wants to show off for herself, people. It's a takeover. It's a hostile takeover.
Do you know what? To do the show all by myself, you know what I'd have to do?
Talk to yourself?
No. I'd have to say, hey, Tobin, why don't you sleep in today? And you would say, woohoo!
Maybe. I would love to see you do the show all by yourself, though, because I would love to have you, like, doing voices and having conversations with yourself.
You want me to sound, just bat crap crazy on the air?
No, I just think it would be fun and funny.
Okay, so I could do the the sorority girl, like, oh my God, I cannot believe that they did that.
Exactly.
And then I could do, I don't know, on the spot. I don't do voices.
Yeah, your daughter does.
Yes, Reagan does. She can do accents actually really well.
Yes.
So yesterday, we apologize for the last-minute preempting of our show. It turns out that now we knew that this week was going to be Imus in the Morning's last week on the air. Imus, who does not like being called by his first name, the I-Man, has been doing radio for 50 years. He's been on the air for 50 years. And yesterday was his last day. Our station owner thought that today, Friday, it seems like a logical thing to think, would be his last day on the air. And so when our station owner realized what had happened, I got a text at like 1:30 in the morning. The show's preempted. We're running it. We basically from 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. we ran Imus. And so that's what happened yesterday. So we had to move some of our guests, and one of them, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to interview because, there's a window. And I was really, really excited about this book. And it's Why Systems Fail and What We Can Do About It. It's called Meltdown, Why Our Systems Fail and What We Can Do About It. It's a groundbreaking take on how complexity causes failure in all kinds of modern systems, from social media to air travel, and reveals how we can prevent meltdowns in business and our daily lives. So it's written by two people, Chris Clearfield and Andras Tilksik. Forgive me, Tilksik. Clearfield was a former derivatives trader and a licensed commercial pilot, and Tilksik, who holds the Canada Research Chair in Strategy, Organizations and Society at the University of Toronto's Rotman School of Management, they weave together a cutting-edge social science with fascinating stories that take us from the front lines of the Volkswagen scandal to the backstage at the Oscars, and from deep beneath the Gulf of Mexico to the top of Mount Everest. They explain how increasing complexity and a lack of slack in our systems creates conditions ripe for failure as well as corruption, and why our brains and teams can't keep up. And if you want to know what complexity does, go back to 2008. Watch The Big Short. Seriously, go watch The Big Short. They do an outstanding job of explaining how we thought that only the very smart could understand, these incredible systems, when really it was just good old-fashioned fraud.
Yeah. It was a system designed to hide the ball so that people could get away with their crimes.
But we become enamored with that complexity.
We have. And, we actually had a conversation in our discussion group the other night, and I brought up this issue that a lot of the problems that we are talking about are essentially unsolvable at the moment with any kind of law, because the laws themselves are designed to be so complex that you can't understand all of the impacts. And the people who do understand are the uber wealthy who hire all these lawyers to look for every crazy loophole they can get to take advantage. And so you may think that you're quote unquote regulating some industry, changing their behavior for the good, but in reality you're just making it easier for them to get away with stuff because the laws are so complicated. Nobody's exactly sure what anyone's supposed to be doing. So
when our legislators, on a state level, or on a federal level, pass laws, and this is really, well, I guess it exists in both places. They pass laws that are so complex they don't even read them.
Yep.
the power then is in the person in the group of lobbyists, and it's generally lobbyists who working with a legislative team who write these laws. They're the ones with the real power.
Yes, they are.
So if you want to know how corruption works, you got to find it there. And so I'm going to do my best to try to get these guys, or at least one of them, back on the air to talk about this book. I think it's groundbreaking, and I was disappointed to not be able to do that interview yesterday. But the I-Man, he deserved his due. He's been on the air for 50 years, and I totally understand. The other thing that we did yesterday is we broadcast live, and we being KCAA as a station, we broadcasted live from the Latino Education and Advocacy Days. It was the 9th annual LEAD conference or LEAD summit held at Cal State San Bernardino, and we're excited. I mean, it was fun, great speakers dealing with everything affecting education, and Latinos in education. The theme for this year's event was Viva la Mujer, Long Live the Woman, and there were phenomenal female speakers throughout the day.
Now, two of the people that were sort of the highlight, I guess, of the day that I kept seeing online was Gloria Macias Harrison and her sister, Marta
Brown.
Marta Macias Brown.
Yes,
yeah.
they were the padrinas for the day. So how this works? There's a padrina or a padrino for that, and it's really Godfather. They're the ones that kind of set the theme and the tone for that year's event. And of course, the both of them are. If you've been involved in the community at all in San Bernardino or Riverside counties, you've met both of these sisters, or at least one of them.
Yes.
Gloria Macias Harrison, of course, with her husband, owns the Inland Empire Community Newspapers, and she was the president of Crafton Hills College for many years and is now on the community college board.
Yep.
Marta Brown has been active in the community as well. She's the widow of the late George Brown, who was a congressman for many years from this area, and she has been involved in many organizations.
Yes.
And so if you're, including our Rotary Club.
Yes. And they're just good people. And, whenever I see an event that's sort of headed up by good people, I kind of am interested and want to be involved too,
Indeed.
That draws me in.
It does me as well. So, real quick, you've probably heard a little bit of buzz about this. Roseanne's first episode was massive.
Yeah.
Fully 18.2 million Americans between the ages of 18 and 49, which is the sweet spot, watched the show. It received a 5.1 rating, and it was the best Tuesday night premiere for ABC since 2006. Americans tuned in shocking numbers. Many conservatives are overjoyed at this, and this is from the Daily Wire. And the Daily Wire actually... they recognize that because Roseanne's character is a Trump supporter, that it says a lot about what Americans want to watch. But she shellacked Hillary. Apparently, I didn't watch it. Now I really want to.
Yeah.
But Daily Wire cautions because it's a different kind of conservatism.
Well, he would say that it's not. Her character is not really conservative at all, and the show is actually written by liberals that are using the show's supposed pro-Trump main character to, in fact, infuse a whole bunch of liberal storylines that are designed to sort of mess with what we would call conservatism. I actually think, as I've thought about this, that people tuned into the show not because of the partisanness of our country. I think they turned in primarily because of nostalgia. That they remember this show, and I also think that it's a unique show in the way that it represents class in society.
Yes,
right. That it's a show that looked at people that weren't wealthy, but it didn't do it in a snobby way, and it showed that they have their own sort of sensibilities that I think resonate with a lot of Americans. A lot of people look at that and say, "That's me."
I agree. Or it's And I have talked about this when it comes to television shows from overseas. Roseanne had real people that looked like your next door neighbor or looked like you, and so they weren't model beautiful. They weren't, they were just engaging, interesting, funny, characters. And by the way, too, they deal with heavy subjects. So it's comedy, but it's drama, and it's done in a really tasteful way.
Yeah.
You know, with All in the Family, people realized that Archie Bunker was a racist curmudgeon, but they enjoyed the show because it was well written, characters they could relate to, guys that could be your next door neighbor. And this has the same kind of feel.
It does. And, there's a whole bunch of little things I heard about the show that they did really right. They basically put her back in the exact same house with the exact same furniture, same wallpaper, nothing has been updated. And it speaks to the fact that there are folks in this country who over the last 20 years did not suddenly get a boost in their income, buy the McMansion, and end up living a very different sort of upper middle class lifestyle. That there are people that are still struggling and inching along, and that life really hasn't changed much for them.
Well, and I don't even know that we have, some of them are struggling. I don't know that we have to say struggling. I think that there's plenty of people, I mean, I'm going to use us. No, we've updated our house over the years, but we've lived in the same house for 20 years. And when everybody was upgrading and doing all the craziness in the mid 2000s, we didn't.
No.
Because we figured, well, we could afford this on one income. If something happens, we're fine. And I think that many families in middle America are like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think back to when I used to watch the Roseanne show, that her character worked multiple jobs. There was a period where they were on welfare, where they were getting, subsidies. Food stamps, and when you're living a life like that, you don't typically have extra money to go buy new furniture, new carpeting, new paint. And so the fact that they're showing all that, and then I also think that there's a generational aspect to the show as well, that they brought back all the kids now as adult characters who have kids of their own, and so now Roseanne and her husband Dan are grandparents, right, and so they're showing a different phase of life as well, and I think all of that is intriguing to people.
Your friends are back, and they've aged the way you have.
Yep.
And now they have kids, and the kids are interesting. I mean, not the kids; they have grandkids, but the middle generation is still very interesting. I think it's a well written show.
I agree.
So hats off, and I will say that I've heard, and I forgot what Tim. I was going to say Tim the Two-Man Taylor, but apparently he's got another show
that was canceled,
and they're going to bring it back.
They may be bringing it back as well.
Because Fox went, they had 5.1. They had a 5.1 market share, 5.1 rating. So maybe we want that too. I forgot what the show is called. Yeah. We don't watch a lot of commercial television because we don't have cable.
It's true.
So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. Ray Lucia here with some important information about debt, your debt. Whether you have a first or second mortgage, you're looking to buy or refi a home or rental property, or just need to consolidate your credit cards to lower your payments and save some serious interest, you need to do some loan financial planning with Steve Alladort, my mortgage man, at loanfinancialplanner.com. Now, Steve's not your garden variety mortgage broker. He actually spends time evaluating how you can use the current super competitive interest rates to pay off your mortgage early, purchase a rental property, improve your cash flow, upgrade to your dream home, or even help your kids or grandkids get into a house. That's what loan financial planning is all about. Steve's been helping me and my listeners for over 2 decades, and I can tell you he is the best finance guy in the business. Go to loanfinancialplanner.com. That's loanfinancialplanner.com.
Or call Steve Alladort at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070.
So you missed the healthcare deadline and don't have any form of healthcare? Liberty HealthShare has the answer. Liberty HealthShare offers an affordable healthcare option that allows Americans to enroll any time of the year. Even if you've already enrolled but are not satisfied with your choice, you can switch to Liberty HealthShare today. Liberty HealthShare allows Americans to control, manage, and direct their health care by allowing them to choose any doctor or hospital across the country, yet still be in good standing with the Affordable Care Act. So members are exempt from the tax penalty and mandates imposed on those without health care insurance, giving you freedom from insurance. Memberships are for individuals, couples, and families, offering a variety of options to best suit an individual's medical needs. If you're a freedom-loving American looking for contract-free health care, then this is for you. For more information on how to enroll any time of the year, call 855-585-4237, 855-585-4237, or visit libertyhealthshare.org to request a free estimate. Not available in Pennsylvania.
This segment of programming sponsored by Cybertime Network Communications. How's your internet? Slower than what you were paying for? Feeling boxed in with the high cost of the internet? It can be frustrating and expensive, and with net neutrality coming, it's not getting any easier. Ready for a better high-speed internet service? Then you're ready for Cybertime. And they're local and right in your own backyard. Cybertime provides connectivity for all our transmissions you're listening to at KCAA. Cybertime is locally owned and will respond to your needs with the best service. It's crisp, cool, fast, and sleek. Cybertime uses the latest, leading-edge microwave technology to be able to offer clients a safe, reliable, public or private network that fits almost any budget size. Numerous local city agencies rely on Cybertime's microwave private network for their most critical mission applications. You should too. Get connected, stay connected, get smart, get Cybertime. You can Google, text, or call Cybertime Network Communications at 909-795-9559. Cybertime Network Communications in Calamasa.
Did you know that 80 to 85% of children's brains are developed by the time they are 3 years old? The San Bernardino City Unified School District is sponsoring free parenting education classes for families of children ages 0 to 36 months. Classes include free childcare, a light meal, children's books to take home, and weekly giveaways. Graduates earn a certificate of completion. For more information, please visit www.infanttoddlersuccess.org or call 909-347-7313.
Hi, this is Sal Tuzzolino, host and ringmaster of the Sports Circus, the big top of Sports Talk Radio. Did you hear this?
They filled the swimming pool full of Jell-O. And people could pay to watch Gary and I dive into this pool of Jell-O. And he and I raised $100,000 doing that.
That's hilarious. Clown around with us and stream the show online at thesportcircus.com.
Join us on 1050 AM, 106.5, and 102.3 FM, Saturday mornings at 8 on the trifecta of Talkin' Sports, KCAA.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California, we are KCAA.
Tell me why. Tell me why.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we're on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. I want to remind everyone all the ways they can follow us. I am Erin Hunt Brinker on Facebook. I am at Erin Songbird on Twitter, Erin Brinker on Instagram. Tobin is Tobin Brinker on Facebook, on Instagram. And are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter.
Sort of. Do you
sort
use?
of. I don't really update a lot on Twitter, but I'm on Twitter. I'm there.
You're there.
I'm there,
The show on Facebook is facebook.com/KCAA Morning Show, because we are on the Brink, the morning show here on KCAA. And I want to talk about these these three boys on spring break. Like, they made an ancient and massive find.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. They discovered a mastodon jawbone on the family's land.
Like one of those Jurassic Park mastodons?
Yes.
Giant dinosaur.
Yes, but it wasn't attached to the dinosaur, apparently.
Really?
These boys have found a part of a mastodon jawbone while exploring family property in Mississippi. The Vicksburg Post reports that two brothers and a cousin made the discovery on plowed land near Bovina. It's probably Bovina, a small community east of the Mississippi River. The three were on spring break from school when they found something they initially thought was a log. Then they saw it had teeth. How cool is that? Imagine you're like a little kid and, or like a, elementary school age kid, and you find this find.
Right.
Then they saw that it had teeth. Lynette Welch, mother of the two brothers, says her husband took the item to the Mississippi Museum of Natural Science in Jackson, where paleontology curator George Phillips confirmed it was a lower left jawbone from a mastodon. Phillips says that finding a half a mastodon lower jaw is very extraordinary. I'm just thinking, okay, you think about all the exploring that we did as kids.
Yes.
And of course, when we were kids, it's when they had all those massive housing booms, like in Southern California, where they were building homes everywhere in the Inland Empire.
Yep.
And we did all kinds of exploration on our bikes.
Yes, we did, and I would have given anything to discover a mastodon jawbone. The picture of it is quite amazing. Now I'm wondering, can they drill into it and pull out some mastodon DNA and make us a new one?
Because we need really, really big elephants?
A la Jurassic Park.
Because we need really, really big elephants?
I'm just saying. Wouldn't that be cool?
Because our regular elephants aren't big enough?
Give us a mastodon. You know you want to see one.
So are you thinking Ice Age?
Yes.
Ray Romano?
Right? He's so cool.
He is cool. So anyway, I just thought, how cool for these boys. They'll never forget it. And you look at these, there's a picture here, and the 3 boys look like they're about 10 years old.
Yeah.
Just absolutely perfect. So you pick a story.
Okay. So I had this one from Carnival Cruise Line, and this teenager apparently has the Carnival Cruise for his Snapchat handle, right? And so Carnival decided to, instead of like bully tactics to try to get this Snapchat handle, which they wanted, they figured out where this kid lived, and they put up signs all around his town sort of asking people to help them to identify him. And they filmed it all, and then they found this kid, and they offered him and his family this deluxe cruise on Carnival Cruises.
How fun!
If he'll turn over to them the Snapchat handle, and also then while he's on the cruise, they're going to give him a whole bunch of other surprises, and they're going to film it all, right? And so
they're going to make that a commercial you watch.
Oh, you know it. You know it. And so apparently this kid is a big fan of Carnival Cruises, which is how that's how he went on Snapchat and said, I want this to be my name on Snapchat. And so I just think the way they decided to handle this was spectacular, right?
It makes you want to go on a Carnival Cruise,
yeah,
doesn't it?
And the kid is 15 years old. His name is Darian Lipscomb, and he lives in Prospect, Virginia, right? And can you imagine them coming to your town and they putting up signs, hey, Prospect, does anyone know Darian? Right? And
the kid's like, what?
And his friends are like, oh, my God, what's it? I mean, this is a very cool thing.
This is a very cool thing.
And now his family gets to go on this awesome cruise.
Does it say where they're cruising to?
It does not.
I guess they get to pick.
But the cruise is worth about $5,000, and then they're going to, like I said, on the cruise, he's going to get a whole bunch of surprise other gifts.
Okay, so put yourself in his shoes. Where would you want to cruise?
I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing he's in Virginia, so I'm guessing he's probably Caribbean is probably where he's going to want to go.
Would you want to go Eastern Caribbean or Western Caribbean?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I mean, I would go where we went before.
You want to go to St. Lucia?
I would go to St. Lucia.
Yeah, but so the Western Caribbean is all those outer islands.
Yes.
Eastern Caribbean would be like down to Cancun, and I flipped them. Western is the Cancun, Mexico, and Eastern is those outer islands.
Yeah.
And I think I'd want to do that too. I mean, depending on all the places that they stop, I want to see Grenada, I want to see Barbados, I want to see, obviously go back to St. Lucia because we really liked it, and Martinique, and all these places.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would just take me anywhere. I don't care where. Just take me somewhere.
Just give me a drink with an umbrella in it.
Thank you very much. So I just like, this was such a happy story. And normally you'd get a story like, that they were suing him.
They were suing, yeah.
And that this poor kid was, they're threatening him with jail time or some craziness.
Yes. When the reality is he just really loves your cruise line.
Thank you.
So, picture this. If he's telegenic, he may end up being on their commercials.
Yeah, he may be their spokesperson.
Exactly. Because they appeal to families as well as
they do
doing the booze cruises. And I think of Carnival, I think of booze cruises.
Yeah. So when I saw this, it just made me happy because, I just imagine this kid and his family getting this wonderful surprise. And it was just handled in such a graceful, kind way, Can't we just do more of that?
I know. Let's be nice to each other
right?
for a change.
On a Friday, particularly.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And it's the weekend. Whoop, whoop. And the weather's supposed to be warm.
Yes.
So, all right. With that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carter. Attorney General Jeff Sessions says there's no need to appoint a special counsel to investigate accusations of FBI misconduct. Sessions told members of Congress yesterday he's had Utah's top federal prosecutor, U.S. Attorney John Huber, on the case.
The Attorney General said he's confident that Huber's review will include a full and complete evaluation of the matter. The probe involves accusations that the FBI misused its powers in surveilling a former Trump campaign advisor during the 2016 election.
Mark Mayfield reporting. Former VA Secretary David Shulkin says he got fired because he didn't want to privatize the VA. Shulkin says political appointees within the VA were disruptive of his team's focus on trying to make progress veterans need. The president is nominating his personal White House physician to replace Shulkin. And tonight's Mega Millions lottery jackpot up to more than $500 million. Cash payout option, $301 million. Lisa Carter, NBC News Radio.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, on the 91 westbound after Auto Center Drive, a stalled car is blocking the left lane. There's some stop-and-go traffic from Lincoln Avenue. In Riverside, on the 91 eastbound after Adams Street, a crash has been moved to the right shoulder. And in the Cajon Pass on the 15 northbound before Cleghorn Road, a disabled vehicle is blocking the left lane. This has been your traffic report on KCAA. We are the stations that leave no listener behind. I'm Erin Brinker.
It's a Good Friday and a great Easter weekend ahead. Easter Sunday going to be mostly sunny with a high of 76. Overnight, tonight 56 and starry skies, sunshine today with a high of 86. Mostly sunny Saturday with a high of 82. I'm Tom Daniels broadcasting from the Tri-City Center at 10 and 210 freeways. We're the trifecta of talk in Southern California. KCAA 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM Loma Linda San Bernardino.
Hi, it's Jan Elliott in Snow Country. This brought to you by Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring. Post your next job on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com/hire. Easter weekend delivers lots of fun events and some spring conditions to throw a coat of wax under your skis and boards just to help keep you moving through those slower spots and enjoy the trails. We've got Mountain High checking in on close to half a dozen runs. It's the Spring-a-Majig annual spring break celebration. Classic events like pond skimming and the bikini pageant all coming up. At Snow Summit, 16 runs, 15 for Bear Mountain, both reporting machine groomed to spring conditions. And the snow softens up at Mammoth, 150 trails. China Peak stays open daily with over 45 runs. At Squaw Valley, over 90 pack powder trails, close to 80 for Alpine Meadows. And if you're heading into the Rockies, Crested Butte reporting spring conditions, just about wide open with over 100 trails there. More at snowcountry.com. I'm Jan Elliott on the trifecta of talk, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
KCAA Radio is proud to announce that the Tri-City Center in Redlands is our new home. We're fortunate to be located among some of the best businesses in the region. Among our neighbors are Ray Chiropractic, Brace Connection Orthodontist, Pain Solutions Medical Massage, Rent-A-Center, MVP Staffing Agency, Jenny Craig, Salon Centric, and many more. The Tri-City Shopping Center is located just off the I-10 between Alabama and the Tennessee exits in Redlands. The Tri-City Center is the mall with the heart.
KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. It's Good Friday. And we didn't mention that. I didn't mention that at the start of the show, but today's Good Friday.
It is.
It is the most somber day on the Christian calendar. It's the day when Christians believe that, including us, believe that the Lord had the weight of the world literally on his shoulder. When the sin of the world literally on his shoulders and on his head. Yeah. And he was crucified and died on Good Friday. And then, was raised again on Sunday.
Amen.
On the third day. And so this is a time to kind of reflect on what it means to be a Christian.
It is.
So this is not a way to be a good Christian. A man paddles out to sea owing $500,000 in a child support, and he hasn't been seen since March 20th.
Yeah, I saw this story, and my immediate thought was that this is a setup, that he is disappearing on purpose, that he
did it on purpose?
That the story kind of wants you to think that maybe he was just out having fun and something bad happened, and maybe he's dead and gone.
No, he's
but
sitting on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, this is a guy who's avoiding his responsibilities, and now he's doing it big time. He's probably got a false identity set up, and he's moved someplace, and probably has people who are helping him. Because very few people do this kind of thing on their own. They have friends and connections that help them to do this, and I suspect this guy is doing that, and it's upsetting on so many levels, because the children, I don't care what happened between him and his ex, but the kids deserve better.
Well, and here's the thing. For them, it's my dad doesn't care about me. My dad doesn't love me. And for some kids, that they will act out in anger. And other kids will internalize that and act out against themselves. So when I say in anger, that some of them will project, and some of them will hold that all in and get on themselves. Both are negative negative ways of dealing with bad feelings. But if your father rejects you, it's a big deal.
Now he's probably thinking, oh, the kids will be told that he's dead, and that'll be an easier thing for them. But let's be honest, at some point he's going to resurface. They're going to find out that he isn't dead, and then these kids are going to be crushed. And they're going to always suspect it anyway, because let's be honest, this is just so
he's
sketchy.
a deadbeat.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. Police in Florida are looking for a 52-year-old man who hasn't been seen since he went paddleboarding in the Atlantic Ocean a week ago. I'm sure somebody picked him up.
Yep.
Fort Lauderdale police tell the Miami Herald that Constantine Theoharis was due in court later that day, which was March 20th, to speak on charges of not paying over $500,000 in child support. But he didn't show up for court or for work as a commercial real estate agent. The judge rescheduled his hearing for March 27th, but he didn't show then either. His wallet and passport were left in his home. Family members tell police they're growing increasingly concerned. Theoharis has been divorced since 2008. His ex-wife is fighting him for child support for their 2 daughters.
It's just wrong. So sad.
And of course I'll feel terrible if something actually happened to him.
Yeah.
But he was due in court later that day. I'm sorry, that just doesn't pass the smell test.
It doesn't. Now, a story that's closer to home, Aaron, that we've got to talk about is this woman who had this giant multi-million-dollar marijuana operation here in San Bernardino. Remember
yes.
in December, and they raided all of her buildings?
Yes, right before everything was legal, they raided her buildings.
Well, she has now filed a large lawsuit against the city of San Bernardino. And it's a lawsuit to overturn the city's pot ordinance. Stephanie Smith, the 43-year-old real estate developer and mother of 5, owns 3 buildings in San Bernardino that were raided by police in December. Thousands of marijuana plants were confiscated. Smith was not arrested or charged, but police accused her of being in charge of the pot fortress. She said she was simply the landlord, right?
Right.
And that her tenants' activities were legal. In her lawsuit, she argues that San Bernardino's ordinance is actually a backdoor ban that continues the city's, and this is her words, illogical campaign against a legal product. California, of course, legalized recreational marijuana last year, but sales did not begin until January 1st. So Smith, who says she's the biggest landlord of marijuana businesses in the state, argues that under the San Bernardino ordinance, which was passed by the city council after Smith's buildings were raided, any person who has ever had anything to do with cannabis is banned for life from entering the legal market. Now, she says that's her tenants were actually in the process of being licensed when they were raided, and they got approval to operate a week after authorities shut them down. But the ordinance bars anyone who had violated local or state laws related to the cannabis industry from ever entering the commercial cannabis business in the city. She says that guarantees that they're going to be forced into the black market. Okay, in other words, she's essentially threatening, I'm going to go back to doing illegal business if you don't let me do this legally, which I think is ridiculous. So she's upset and she's suing, and it's going to be fascinating to me. I'm hoping the courts just kind of throw out her lawsuit and say it's meritless, but I suspect it's going to go a ways. And of course, the city then has to pay to defend themselves against these kinds of lawsuits.
I have to be honest. When her building was raided in December, it had all of us scratching our heads. It's like, really, in a couple weeks, it's going to be legal.
Yeah.
So why are you doing this? Why are you this bankrupt city? Why are you spending city resources raiding this building?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me, and I think we actually joked about it.
Yeah. For me, I think the primary thing, the first building they discovered, was literally the old Edison building, which is right up against the backside of the police department. And, seriously, right? And I think that was part of. I think that's part of the reason that it's actually the building that's like right between the police department and where the city schools has their main place. I mean, it's literally right there with these big civic buildings, and I think location more than anything drove some of that. That they're like, oh my God, how brazen is this for these people to put it right here next to us, and think that this is okay.
But I think, our mayor is. He really, I don't want to call him a crusader, but he really is against legalized marijuana.
Yeah.
And I understand that, it was passed, like it or not, but he doesn't want to give this woman a break. And I understand that. I mean, I do understand his reasoning. I don't agree with it. Like I said, they raided like a week or 2 weeks before, whatever it was, before it became legal. Is that really how we should be spending city resources?
Yeah. Well, I think that for this woman in particular, I don't think her lawsuit's got much merit, primarily because this is a local law. So she's not being forced into the black market. She's not being prohibited from doing what she wants to do in other cities. It's just in San Bernardino that she would be banned because of her
She likes the cheap real estate out here.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she does.
And that improves her profit margins, let's be honest.
I'm sure she does. But let some other cities come a-calling. They can court her if they want that business because, San Bernardino doesn't need that.
No. So an interesting, this one's from Florida.
Florida?
Yes. A woman went out for General Tso's chicken and ended up with horrible, horrible stomach pains. Okay, so why are we talking about that? Well, it turns out she was delivering a baby. She didn't know she was pregnant. So
Wow.
she awoke to what she believed were the consequences of a bad dish of General Tso's chicken, but instead had an unexpected baby in her arms 3 hours later. Okay, so she didn't know she was pregnant.
Yes.
And then she delivers in 3 hours?
Yes.
What the heck? I was miserable when I was pregnant twice, and both of my labors were multiple hours. Like, one of them was a couple days, and the other one, was my shorter labor was 18 hours.
Some people are just lucky, Erin.
Oh my gosh, that's not fair.
This story took a turn, though. You start off with, she went into General Tso's chicken. I'm thinking she's got food poisoning.
Well, that's what she thought, too.
We're going to get some interesting story about some weird something that happened at the restaurant. But no. Turns out it's the woman's pregnant. Wow.
Yeah, 29-year-old Crystal Gail Amerson thought food poisoning was responsible for her stomach pains that woke her up early on Sunday, and she was unaware that she was actually 37 weeks pregnant. An ambulance arrived hours later as the pain escalated. She must have thought she was dying.
Right.
Her second son, a 5-pound Oliver James, soon entered the world in the back of an ambulance en route to the hospital. Amerson says she'd never felt many pregnancy symptoms and didn't notice much weight gain. Although the Chinese food was absolved of blame, Amerson says she may never look at it the same way again.
Right.
She's going to have PTSD from eating Chinese food.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, surprise.
Oh, my goodness.
Golly. Got another tax write-off. Yeah. So,
Kids are great.
Kids are awesome. With that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Breaker.
And I'm Tobin Breaker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Gary Garver. I've been having trouble getting a good night's sleep lately. Maybe you have too. Well, if you have been, South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out. South Pacific Sleep Lab provides a personal study to help you find out how to get a great night of sleep. I've been having sleeping issues during the night lately for a number of reasons. South Pacific Sleep Lab evaluated me with an overnight study of my sleep pattern. With their professional staff, they were able to provide me with a diagnosis of my sleep pattern, and ever since, I haven't had much of a problem getting a great night of sleep. South Pacific Sleep Lab has locations throughout Southern California, including one in Fontana, and they will provide transportation to any of their locations at no cost to you. South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just give them a call at 844-SAD-5050 to schedule your appointment today. That's 844-SAD-5050.
If you're looking for a full or part-time sales position and you have radio, TV, or print media experience, KCAA has a great opportunity waiting for you that pays the highest commissions in the market. KCAA is the only station in the IE that broadcasts on 3 frequencies. So advertisers receive 3 ads for 1 low rate. This makes KCAA a must-buy for every local business. If you're interested in a sales position with us, email CEO@kcaaradio.com.
What if I told you you'd never have to make a house payment again? What if you could pay off much-needed home repairs and even create an income stream based on the value of your home? If you're 62 years old or older, you could be eligible for a reverse mortgage. Call Tim Harrison and find out if a reverse mortgage is right for you. Call Tim at 800-566-2475. That's 800-566-2475. Tim Harrison, branch manager, NMLS number 170960. Broadview Mortgage Corporation is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. License number 170952. Registered with the Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System and registry number 813B544. Broadview Mortgage, equal housing lender. Remember, if you never want to make a house payment again, except for property taxes, maintenance, and insurance, that's 800-566-2475. That's 800-566-2475.
Donald Carpenter here. I'm the host of the Family Man's Faith and Finance Show Mondays at 3 o'clock. You know the number one reason married couples fight? Money. The number one lesson people wish they'd learned in school? Money. Listen, I've got over 20 years of experience in asset management and financial planning. Together, we can make the most of the money you make. We can take care of you and your family's finances. We can teach you how to build and strengthen a family financial fortress that can help protect you for years to come. We'll help you do it. Give me a call, 310-777-6777, and we'll help you manage these volatile markets and make better choices for your family's financial future. Call me, 310-777-6777, or shoot me an email, Donald@f3assetmanagement.com. And don't forget to catch the Family Man's Faith and Finance Show Mondays at 3 o'clock on KCAA Radio.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. There's a really sad story out of Texas.
Yeah. It's a elementary school teacher who's been suspended, and apparently she was discussing her sexual orientation with her students. And you know, the story is a little light on some of the specific facts of what was actually said to the students, but it's a fascinating story, and I think it's going to have us talking about how do we represent ourselves in a classroom, you know, and what we can and can't do. So here's the story. An elementary school teacher in Texas was suspended after she allegedly spoke about her sexual orientation with her students, officials said Tuesday. Charlotte Anderson Elementary art teacher Stacy Bailey, who's 31 years old, was suspended with pay in September. Officials with Mansfield Independent School District said it received complaints from parents about her discussing her sexual orientation with students. People hold signs and flags at a rally in front of Stonewall Inn in solidarity with immigrants, asylum seekers, refugees, and the LGBT community on February 4th in 2017. Mansfield Independent Art School teacher Stacy Bailey spoke to elementary school students. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's different. In a statement sent to Newsweek, Mansfield ISD said it is their general rule not to comment on employee personnel matters, but misinformation about Bailey's personnel matter had created disruption to the Charlotte Anderson Elementary School education environment. District officials said the teacher was not suspended over her request to include LGBTQ language in its non-discrimination policy. Instead, the district said that Bailey was suspended because she insists that it is her right and that it is age appropriate for her to have ongoing discussions with elementary age students about her own sexual orientation, the sexual orientation of the artists that she teaches about, and their relationship with other gay artists. Parents have a right to control the conversation with their children, especially as it relates to religion, politics, sex, sexual orientation, etc., the statement continued. Bailey had been warned after the district received parents' complaint but refused to follow administration directives regarding age-appropriate conversations with students, officials said. And basically the response back from the teacher's attorney was that this is not true, that the district appears to speak for Stacy when it states that she insists that it's her right and that it's age-appropriate to discuss matters including ongoing discussions about her own sexuality. This is absolutely false. Further, she never received directives to change her behavior and never refused to follow any directive. And so she's basically saying everything the district's saying is not true.
So did she, and here's what's unclear, did she say, well, my wife,
Yeah.
which you talk about me in your classroom.
As I've thought about it, I actually have pictures of wedding pictures of us on my desk and on the wall behind my desk, and pictures of our kids. And I talk about life events that we're going through, that our kids are engaged, and things of that nature. When our kids graduated from college, I mentioned, that. I mean, and so there are been many times over the years where my family life is sort of shared with my students. And I think that's a normal thing. And as I look at my colleagues around my school, I think you find similar things in their classroom, pictures of their spouses. And I'm certain that kids ask and they talk about their families as well.
Right, because what we're really talking about here is family. Now, Is she talking about her family? Is she talking about, is she just talking about her life in general, or is she talking about sex? And
Yes.
I get the impression that she's not actually talking about sex.
No.
She's talking about her life.
Yes. And, we one of the things they stress in teacher education programs is that to be an effective teacher today, you have to develop a relationship with your students. And we talk about what kind of relationship that is. It's not a relationship of equals. You're not trying to be their friend, but you do want to develop trust. And trust requires a certain level of candor and openness, right? And so they need to see you as a human being who has feelings and connections with other human beings. And that, to a certain degree, means letting them know some things about your life.
Yes.
And so I worry when I see stories like this that there might be some backlash that will say something like teachers can't have pictures of their families or spouses in their classrooms
Which would
anymore.
be insane.
Right?
It would be insane.
Right. Or that we're not allowed to talk about our family lives at all.
Right.
And I'm like, what?
That doesn't make any sense.
Let's remove the humanity from teaching.
Well, and the response from parents who have, or from kids who have taken her class, they love her.
Yes.
And parents are upset because, that these kids have really benefited from her lessons, and they really love her as a person and as a teacher. And come on, folks.
Yeah, one of the parents that spoke out at one of their school board meetings basically said, that the only thing that I care about as a parent is, does this teacher love the content that they're teaching, and do they love the kids? Do they have that passion for this? And this is that teacher. She's got those qualities that you want, and is, by all accounts, a very good teacher, And so why has she been removed from the classroom? Because some people are uncomfortable with homosexuality?
Yes. And again, she was talking about, here's the thing, and art's a touchy subject, right?
Yeah.
Because art depicts, the point of view of the artist, right?
Yeah.
Or it creates an environment where lots of points of view can be inferred from a particular piece of art. But it's supposed to be thought-provoking. Some art is, well, quote-unquote, art is not good, and other, art, I think art should elevate. Art
Yep.
should engage the mind. Art should invoke some sort of emotion, not necessarily revulsion, as some artists put out there. But and so, and a lot of artists, I mean, they run the gamut, and I think even more so than in other traditions. You probably are other professions rather. Artists are touchy-feely people, right?
Yes, they are.
And so, there are topics that are going to be talked about in an art class, and I'm sure if she's teaching fourth grade, I'm sure that she's it's being talked about in an age appropriate way.
Yeah, and the kind of art that she's exposing kids to is not the mature art that you might expose someone to in high school or college. I'm certain that they're doing abstract, and they're talking, and she's showing them that art, and then they're doing the cutesy elementary school art projects where they can get a sense of the use of color or the use of space, and how to represent stuff like that. And so this is I think a major overreaction. And I think about my own life growing up and teachers that I had that kids would say, that we thought were gay, and who cares? If they're a good teacher, they're a good teacher. And I think about the colleagues that I work with, and straight and gay, and it's no one's business what they decide to share or what they do share, as long as it's done in an appropriate manner. And nothing has been put forward here to suggest that this woman did anything that sort of crosses that line.
Nothing untoward. And here's the thing. No teacher should be talking about their sex life in class.
Yes.
That's inappropriate.
Yeah.
That is grossly inappropriate.
Yes.
But talking about your interpersonal relationships, like I don't know that I could go through a day without talking about my family.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could, and I'm not a teacher, but there's real life examples that you talk about when you're teaching to make things more accessible for the students. Well, if her life is, if her family life is she's in a same-sex relationship, then that's her family life.
Yeah. It's funny. I think about parent conferences that I've been in, and parents will share, I'm having this particular struggle with my child. And oftentimes I will relate to that parent as a parent myself and say, oh, yes, when my child was in middle school, we went through something similar. And these are the things that we did. And you do that. I mean, that's how people talk to each other, right? And so you don't hide your family life, your truth. You share. And so I don't think that what this lady has done is at all wrong, and I'm deeply offended and concerned that laws may come out of this that are going to try to sort of ban us, because this is what they do. They try to sanitize society, right? So because it's controversial for some people, we're going to make it so nobody can talk about any of this stuff. Nobody can deal with this stuff, and I really hope we don't go that way. I hope instead we go the opposite direction, which is to say to the parents that had an issue, tough. Gay marriage is legal in this country now, and having someone put up a picture of their spouse or mention that they're married to someone of the same sex, they haven't broken any laws, they haven't done anything wrong, and your kid's going to grow up in a world where that's the reality.
That is the reality. And here's the thing too, it is a great teaching moment.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be sanitizing the world for our children.
Yep.
What a parent's job is to equip our children to be successful in the world once they're adults, right?
Yes.
And you don't do that from shielding them from everything. Now, it has to be done in an age-appropriate way, yada, yada, yada. But I think you have a conversation when your child gets home. Because the reality is, like you said, we have a diverse country, a rich and diverse country. And you have to be kind to people.
Yes, you do.
So with that...
And we started today with that, didn't we?
Yes.
Be kind to
being
people.
Kind to people. And especially, the Christians out there, reflect on what Jesus did on that cross.
Yeah.
On the sacrifice that he made for us on that cross. And one of the things that churches are not talking about as much as they should is repentance.
Yeah.
It is incumbent upon each and every one of us to fight our worst nature, the worst side of ourselves, and to repent of our sins all the time. Meaning, if you did somebody wrong, you go make it right, and you apologize to the person that you did wrong, and you take it to God, and you apologize to Him.
Amen.
And that is an ongoing, lifelong thing to do, because we are all sinners. Every single last one of us. If there's a message on Good Friday, that's it. And it's not that you need to beat yourself up all the time. There's tremendous freedom that comes in that process.
Yeah.
That in a deeper relationship with God. And here's the other thing too. If you want a deeper relationship, whoever you are, whatever your struggle, whatever your background, Christian or not, Jewish or not, those scriptures are there for you. And if you want to hear from him, that's where you find him.
Yeah.
So with that, it's time. We're at the end of our show for today. Have a wonderful Easter weekend. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3.
It's the little old lady from Pasadena. The little old lady from Pasadena.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
Aditi Roy, CNBC. Brent Bible owns Stillwater Farms in Romney, Indiana. Once spring gets underway, half his fields will be filled with soybeans. But now he's rethinking his crop plan amid chatter about China lowering its soybean imports from the U.S. to retaliate against U.S. tariffs. The stakes are high for American soybean farmers like him. China is the top importer of U.S. soybeans, buying $14.5 billion worth of the product, a staggering 61% of all U.S. soybean exports. But some analysts who follow soybean futures assure that China's demand for soybeans is so large it can't shut out U.S. supplies in the long run. That's little consolation for Bible.
We're being put on the front lines, but we haven't been given any weapons. And what we see